Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Keith with Less Magic, More Gathering, and we've got another random card deck tech for you this week using Apex of Power from M19. It is a 10-drop red sorcery. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-land cards exiled this way. If this spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. So, difficult card to build around, but we made a deck that's pretty fun, and if it kicks off and gets going, there's really no way to stop it. So it's not necessarily always competitive, but it is always fun to play, and it'll always drive your friends crazy. So if that's what you're looking for, let's take a look at this deck. We're going to take a look at 3 channels before we get started that I think that if you're subscribed to my channel, you will enjoy. So go check these channels out and give them a subscribe as well. If you're not already subscribed to our channel, please go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you'll know when we post new videos. And go to Twitter and follow us at LMMG2018. So let's take a look here. The first one we've got is Jay the Filthy Casual. Jay the Filthy Casual is filthy diverse too. He's got tons of different videos on all kinds of different stuff, Magic the Gathering related. Just go take a look, watch some videos, and if you don't like him, you're crazy. So when you get there, subscribe to the channel, and then watch some of his videos. He's got a little bit of everything for everybody. So take a look at it. Next one we're going to take a look at here is Raaanch. Raaanch. It's like a cow, right? Raaanch. Maybe that, I don't know what he was going for. But take a look at Raaanch. Raaanch opens all kinds of packs. Got all kinds of cool pack opening videos and stuff like that. So if you like watching that stuff, new, old, whatever you're into, he's probably got something for you. So go take a look at Raaanch. And finally, probably one of my favorite dudes when it comes to Magic the Gathering and the Magic the Gathering community. You know, this guy is super knowledgeable. He's got a lot of experience. He's just getting into YouTube, so not a lot of subscribers, but I'm hoping we can help change that. The Magic of Magic the Gathering. He, like I said, is so smart, knows so much lore stuff, and he also goes into his experiences with pre-releases and new sets coming out, Friday Night Magic, so lots of good information and lots of good insight from a guy that really knows his stuff when it comes to Magic. Of all the 3, I hate to pick one, but I really suggest going over to his channel, taking a look, and giving him a subscribe. As he gets more into doing these videos and making new stuff and getting better equipment, I think that he's going to really jump off the page and stand out among other creators. So take a look at all 3 of them, though. The links are in the description. Give them a subscription. And let's get looking at this deck here. We're going to take a look at our creatures first. We've not got very many, but the ones we do have work really well in this deck. Enigma Drake is a 3-drop 4 toughness flyer. It's a Drake, and when its power and toughness are equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So as you'll see as we get going here, we're going to have a lot of instants and sorceries we're casting, so Enigma Drake is a good addition to the deck. Next, we've got 3 copies of Wildfire Eternal. Wildfire Eternal is really going to help us get our 10-drop sorcery that Twitter chose for us. Thanks for that. He's going to help us cast that thing a lot sooner than we would normally be able to. Even if we're having some mana problems, if we can get to 4 and get the Wildfire Eternal out and get this thing unblocked, we're going to be able to cast that for free. Now, another change from this deck that I'm showing you right now that you could easily add in and make that a little easier is to put in a couple copies of Tetsuko so that the creatures with power or toughness of 1 can't be blocked. So that would make it so that Wildfire Eternal can't be blocked, and then it can get through no problem. We're not running that in this deck, but that's a suggestion if you want to try and make Wildfire Eternal a little more effective. So, our final creature, we've got 2 copies of Combustible Gearhulk. We've got more than one spell in this deck that costs 10, so if your opponents decide to have you mill those into your graveyard, there's a possibility they could take a ton of damage from this. So, Combustible Gearhulk is a 6/6 first strike for 6 all by itself, but then you add in the ability where you could either draw 3 cards or do damage to your opponent equal to the converted mana cost of the cards that they have you put in the graveyard. This thing has potential to do a ton of damage. So we went with Combustible Gearhulk. You may be able to drop one of these and maybe a Drake to put in Tetsuko. Work with the deck list and see what you think and how you'd change it. But like I said, we're going to keep going here. So after our creatures there, we've got our instant spells. We've got 4 copies of Shock. This is, but most of this you'll see at the end, how it's all going to tie together. 4 copies of Shock. This is going to help you keep the board clear until we can get to what we really want to. I also got 4 copies of Lightning Strike, same thing. And we've got 4 copies of Anticipate. So we can get to the cards we need and hopefully be able to get the lands. And if we need lands, we can get that. If we don't, we might be able to get a Wildfire Eternal or some of our other spells that are going to help us get where we're going. And we've got 2 copies of Pull from Tomorrow. This is instant speed card draw. So you can draw X cards, then you discard a card. You can use this. You may cast your Apex of Power and not hit any of the other options that we really want. So you use that to cast the Pull from Tomorrow and draw 10 cards. Or 8 cards, I guess it would be. Whatever you need to do, but it's a good option for card draw to really help us find the pieces that we need to make this deck work. After that, we've got 1 copy of Spell Swindle. This is going to let us counter a bigger spell, get a bunch of treasures, and then if we need to hard cast our Apex of Power, we can. We can use Spell Swindle to cast that out, and a lot of times this is going to be the card that really gets us to our destination. Because once Apex of Power's out, we can hit a couple of these other spells, and then it's over. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I know it's a long ride. Just hang on. So after Spell Swindle, we're going to look at our sorceries here. And we've got 4 copies of Banefire. This is sometimes just going to be able to finish the game for you, or take out a creature that you want to not be there so that you can get your Wildfire Eternal through. Cast a Banefire, get it through, swing with your Wildfire Eternal, and cast some big stuff. So just lots of options here for Banefire. And like I said, sometimes it can just finish the game for you. Next, we've got our 2 copies of Apex of Power. We don't want to have a lot of 10 drops in this deck, but we do want to hit this card, because once we cast this card, it can almost finish the game for us. And we've got 2 copies of Sweltering Suns. Sweltering Suns does 3 damage to each creature, so it won't kill any of our creatures, but it can help, like I said before, keep the board clear so that we can build up what we're trying to do and make it work. And finally, I think I said finally on the last one, but this one's really finally. 1 copy of Overflowing Insight. 7 mana, draw 7 cards. Awesome. Now, we've got 1 enchantment in the deck. We've got 2 copies of Omniscience. Omniscience is going to let us cast all of our spells for free. So once we hit our Apex of Power, if we can find an Omniscience with that, cast that, and then all of our spells are free from there. So we can really start pumping out spells. Once you get Omniscience down, you can cast your Apex of Power for free from your hand. So you do get that 10 mana. If you've got a Banefire or something like that, you could use it because it has that X cost. So if you try and cast it with Omniscience, then you're not going to get any value out of it. But you do get that mana from your Apex of Power. So using your Apex of Power into a Banefire can be a big blow to your opponent. But then it's also going to let you cast all your lightning strikes, all your shocks. All those are going to be free, so you can get those in for damage to your opponent. It's going to let you draw all your cards because you're going to hit your card draw spells. So lots of big spells in here, but we can usually cast them, and when we do, it'll pretty much finish the game. So after that, we're going to take a look at our land base here. Nothing too surprising. We got 7 mountains. We've got 8 islands. We've got 4 Sulphur Falls, which is from Dominaria, so it won't be rotating out. A lot of the cards in here do, so this isn't very rotation friendly, but the cards are there, so let's use them, right? And we've also got 2 copies of Spire Bluff Canal, which will come in untapped if you have 2 or fewer other lands. And then we've got, finally, 4 copies of Reliquary Tower. If, for some reason, we can't kill our opponents once we get our Omniscience down, it'll be good to have Reliquary Tower, because more than likely we've drawn a lot of cards and we've got a handful that we don't want to get rid of. So it makes it so that we won't have to discard anything at the end of our turn. So that's the deck for Apex of Power. Like I said, it's a strange card to try and build around because it's big, and if you want to make it competitive, it's hard to do. But we tried, and the deck's definitely fun. So take a look at it, check it out. Let us know down in the comments what you would do to change it or make it better, what we could have done differently. We always appreciate the feedback. And I guess we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Deuces. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go down below and find that subscribe button. Press it and the notification bell so that you'll know when we post new videos. If you've got some feedback, follow that arrow to the comment section and let us know what you think. See you next time.